We'll now go to the concept of nucleoid. You must not have heard this term, I guess. Now, this is a region of the nucleus which does not have a nuclear membrane. Now, you must have heard we have discussed in the prokaryotic cells that prokaryotic cells does not have a well-defined nucleus. In the, I think, 2 classes before, we have studied about the prokaryotic cells, in which I said that the prokaryotic cells are those cells which do not have a well-defined nucleus or a nuclear membrane. So here also the concept is that means the nucleus which does not have a nuclear membrane, it is like the region is present, but the membrane is not present. It is mixed with the other components of the cell. So as you know, the membrane separates the outer part from the inner part. Any cover, it may be any cover, like say the cover, pen cover. The refill is separated from the cover and from the outer environment. So here also, if you take the concept of the nucleoid is such a region of the nucleus which does not contain the nuclear membrane. So that type of nucleus is called as nucleoid, and it is present in case of bacteria, because bacteria is a prokaryotic organism. I have already discussed with you. So please remember the concept of nucleoid. Nucleoid is a type of nucleus which does not have a nuclear membrane. I repeat. We'll go to the next concept now. We'll go to the part called as the cytoplasm. Now this cytoplasm is present throughout the cell. In plant cell, in animal cell, it is present throughout the cell. Whole cell is covered with the cytoplasm. And the cytoplasm is a semi-liquid type of substance. It floats throughout the cell. And on the cytoplasm, other cell organelles are there. Like you have the nucleus, you have one more part which we will study, which is called as the mitochondria. All are present in the cytoplasm. So cytoplasm is a medium in which all the other parts of the cell are located. So this is basically a fluid-filled part. A fluid-filled part in which other cell organelles are present. I have written here, you can see here, a fluid-filled part which is called as a cytoplasm. And cytoplasm has all the cell organelles in it, starting from the nucleus to the mitochondria. We have one more part called as the ribosome. All are located at different points, at different places, but all are present on the cytoplasm. Cytoplasm serves as a medium. Now we'll go to the organ called as the mitochondria. So this is an important cell organelle. Now the mitochondria, you can see there, I have written here that the mitochondria is also called as the powerhouse of the cell. Now it is understood that powerhouse means its function is definitely related to energy. If its name is powerhouse of the cell, it is definitely related to energy. And as you know, to do anything we need energy. So the cell also requires energy to do its different functions. All the cellular functions, all the chemical activities inside the cell, for those activities you need to have energy. Now, if you talk about the mitochondria has its own DNA and it has its own ribosome. I repeat again, just a minute. I said they have their own DNA and they have their own ribosomes. Please remember that ribosomes, in whichever organ you see ribosomes are present, that means that organ is capable, or that cellular organelle is capable of making its own protein. Wherever ribosome is present, that means the ribosome is the center of protein synthesis. Wherever you see ribosomes are present, your mind should you should immediately click in your mind that okay, ribosomes are present, that means the proteins will be prepared easily. So here also the proteins will be prepared easily because the ribosomes are present. And wherever proteins are there, growth is possible. Wherever proteins are not there, growth is difficult. So it is understood here that since they have their own DNA and ribosomes, so they can make their own proteins. Now secondly, if you see the structure of the mitochondria, there are two covers of the mitochondria. I'll just take you to the diagram now. If you see this diagram, you can see there are two cover, one is called as the outer membrane, the inner part is called as the inner membrane. The outer part is the outer membrane, the inner part is the inner membrane, and you can see that the inner membrane is very much folded. You can see in the diagram that the inner membrane is very much folded, and there is an advantage of being folded. I'll tell you why. What is the advantage of being folded? I'll tell you. Now see, I have written here, see, outer membrane is porous and the inner membrane is deeply folded. Now, since the inner membrane is more folded, so there is more surface area there. If you take a, say you take a, rope. If you take a rope like this, if you extend it, it will take more space. But if you fold it, you see, that means if you fold it, you can place more things in that. That means if the area is folded, you get more surface area. So here also the thing is same. The inner membrane is highly folded and therefore there is availability of more surface area. And since more surface area is available, more chemical reactions can take place inside those membranes. More reactions can take place inside those membranes since they are highly folded. Now, I was telling that the mitochondria is called as the powerhouse of the cell because inside the mitochondria there is one substance called as ATP. You can see here. The full form is adenosine triphosphate, ATP. So all the energy transactions inside the cell is taken place, is done with the help of ATP. Therefore ATP is also called as the energy currency of the cell. We need money or currency to buy anything from the market. So cell also requires currency to do anything. So the energy currency of the cell is ATP. If you want to generate energy, you must take the help of ATP. So therefore it is called as the energy currency of the cell. And this ATP, since ATP is involved in generation of energy, or mitochondria is involved in the generation of energy, therefore it is called as the powerhouse of the cell, because ATP will give energy to the mitochondria to do all the type of chemical reactions in the cell.